Time to harvest grapes in my chaotic vineyard. Come join me in the chaos. All right, so most of these are Concords, or at least Labrusca varieties. I bought like 8 different similar types of Labrusca grapes. So like I bought Concords, I bought Reliance, I bought a few other types that I can't remember off the top of my head. But the point is that the grapes are ready to harvest. I'm gonna make a bunch of grape juice. So I kind of wanted to show what these clusters look like. This is only after, is it second year or third year? I think it might be third year. So they're trained up to the line, and then I have my trunks established. They're still pretty thin though. I mean, these things aren't even an inch wide. Well, a few of them are, but that one's not. But they're putting out a lot of fruit. So very fruitful. Some of the grapes are starting to shrivel, and I still have some that aren't ripe. I tried pulling off some of the leaves to get more sun like a week ago, just so that these could ripen a little faster. A lot of senescing of leaves, and we had some Japanese beetles. And you can just break off the senesced leaves, the leaves that are getting old. They basically just do photosynthesis for, a certain amount of time, and then they start, getting sunburned and dying off. The plant kind of uses them as a sunshade. The only bad thing about that, though, is it causes the grapes to not all ripen at the same time. And I think that's probably a defense mechanism of the grapes to extend the season, that they have viable seeds so that birds can, instead of birds feeding off them for a week, birds can scatter the seeds for, a month or more. And so they'll ripen slowly. But I've noticed if you just give them a little bit more sun and take off some of that shade, that you'll cause them to ripen a little bit faster. The thing about grapes, though, is they won't ripen once you pick them. So if you don't like the way they taste and you pick them, the color might change, but the flavor profile, the bricks, the sugar concentration, whatever you want to call it, it's pretty consistent. It doesn't change with, if you pick them and leave them on the counter. But yeah, I'm pretty impressed with these. They're such small vines, and they're already putting off so much fruit. I can tell the bees are taking advantage of some of the ones that are busting open, getting some free juice. I don't have to pick off those bad ones. They're not really bad, they're just going to be very fermenty, and I'm going to make fresh juice, and so I don't really want too much of the grapes that are starting to turn already. But I suspect I'm going to get a pretty substantial bundle harvest. And these are delicious. Like if you've ever had Concord grape juice, the purple kind, I'm not a big fan of the white grape juice. I know some people love it, so no offense. Just for me, I really like the bright purple grape juice. So, and that's what these are. These are Concords. They're so delicious. They kind of remind me of like the old-fashioned grape candy. Like I always thought that was artificial grape flavor, because I grew up in California where they have the European grapes, and the European grapes have a completely different flavor profile. They don't have that foxy flavor that you find in American grapes. American grapes kind of have that slip skin. Let me show you what that means. So if I take one of these grapes and you kind of squeeze it a little bit, hope it doesn't shoot out, the inside just kind of pops out of the outside. That's a slip skin. So these skins are a little thicker. So if you haven't had this type of grape before, some people might not like them. They're kind of like a plum a little bit, just because of the texture. And they usually have a pretty good sized seed. But in my opinion, these type are a little healthier, because the grape oil that you'll get a touch of grape oil in your juice. And that's very healthy oil. And it's not enough to be oily, but it has a noticeable warmth that it adds to the juice. And I think it's delicious, especially in jams. If you've ever had Concord grape jam. Such a delicious flavor. And these have big, fat, viable seeds. I know a lot of people just want to eat grapes without seeds. But some of the strongest grapevines that I've grown have been grown from seeds, especially Concords. I mean, you can just clone the Concords if you want, just take cuttings, and those grow too. But they just seem to have such a stronger root system if you just grow them from seed. And they're also amazing for grafting. I mean, over by my porch, I have some Concords, which are a hybrid, but those scions you can graft right onto grapevines that you've grown from seed. They graft really well if you do it right. I'll do a video on that sometime, but I'm pretty excited about this harvest. So I'm going to harvest a bunch of these and then maybe show a little video clip of how full I can get this basket thing. Okay, I dramatically underestimated how many grapes I had. Okay, I dramatically underestimated how many grapes I actually had. So I've only done like 2 vines, and I have like 14 more vines to harvest. And I completely filled up my basket. I still have just so many left to harvest. So I'm not really exactly sure what to do. I didn't plan that much space. I don't know if I'm gonna have to fill up some trash bags or what, because I was gonna turn all this into juice. But I don't know if I want to make this much juice. So I'm pretty impressed. So these things are heavy producers. After only 3 years, if you get Labrusca varieties of grapes, you know, in the colder states, like don't do this in like zone 9 or 10. But yeah, zone 6, Missouri, especially Independence, the ground is super fertile and apparently produces heavy amounts of grapes. So I'm excited. I didn't even fertilize these things.